everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another video. Today is part 2 of Meghan Markle's Nigeria wardrobe. If you missed part 1, I will link it for you here. There was so much wrong with her outfits, her execution of said outfits. So there is a lot to cover today, plus we're answering some of your questions. Case of the disappearing boobs, anyone? If you thought this trip, not a tour, definitely not royal, this trip, 'twas a vacation, went down without a pair of good old-fashioned man pants, well, you'd be mistaken. We're talking about the Meg here, folks. The self-appointed icon of GMP's giant man pants. Particularly of the puddling sort, Meghan did indeed take a swim in a pair of giant trousers. And boy, are they big. This pair of sort of stone green giant man pants, so much fabric, just a lot of fabric happening here. A lot of pleats, exaggerated pleats, so much volume. And the icing on the cake here is that she wore this already tragic, terrible halter mock neck tank from the time that she wore this pair of giant man pants. So as an outfit, I kind of hate it. I do like the color of the pants though. I suppose, the bar is very, very low. Anything that is not beige or completely neutral is a big improvement. It's a big deal. So we have a hint of green here, a grayish green, but not exactly what we want in terms of silhouette. The pants do have a couple of upsides though. Wide leg trousers can be really beneficial for inverted triangle leaning body types similar to Meghan Markle. And for her, are best worn at a lower rise. And these, as you can see, are not super high rise, meeting the boobs. This is absolutely fabulous in terms of a rise of pant in general. Like for any style of pant, any amount of volume, giant man pants or not, having this rise is exactly what she needs because it helps to prevent her from accentuating the shorter torso when she wears high-rise trousers or jeans or anything, as we have seen time and time again. It ends up looking like her pants are hiked up literally to her boobs. Pants meet boobs is never a good look. So this here helps to blend that shorter torso and give the illusion of a better balance in terms of torso to leg proportion. So that's a great improvement. But other than that, they are tragic. They are wrinkly as all get out. My goodness, could you get any more wrinkles in these pants? I do not think you can. And she's wearing high heels here. And while the pants are not puddling, for once, they are appearing to be hemmed at least somewhat properly in this case. She is wearing high heels, which give the illusion that the pant legs are just sort of hovering above the floor, which is kind of strange. This particular style of giant man trousers or just wide leg trousers looks best when worn with sneakers or trainers or whatever you want to call them, tennis shoes. So it will come as no surprise that she didn't exactly style these pants properly either. And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just the Nigeria trip outfits were such an exhausting mess as it was. And then we have these wide leg trousers coming out to play, looking really messy. They just have so much volume and they're wrinkly. There is just too much pant here, too much volume. It's overwhelming to the point of looking a little sloppy or even silly. This particular style of trouser, as I said, is meant to be styled in a more casual, almost sporty sort of a way. Something like a basic t-shirt and sneakers are the perfect complements to this sort of trouser style. And like in this case, a crisp t-shirt with a v-neck would have been really complimentary for her to help elongate the neck a tad, or a regular crew neck would have been fine. That wasn't skin tight and didn't have exposed shoulders would have given the illusion that at the waistband it reins in a tad, enabling her silhouette to give the impression that she had a more well-defined waist in there. But because she paired it up with this particular top that's more slim fit and has the exposed shoulders, it's just not offering the balance that it could have. But if she had paired it up with sneakers, it would have given a preppy sort of aesthetic to the style of trouser, and it would help to punctuate the hemline with a slightly bulkier shoe like a sneaker or trainer. With the high heels, it's just giving that sort of strange tent-like look to the pant leg. Would have been much more successful with sneakers and with a different top. But even still, the pants are a little much in the volume. She does benefit from a bit of volume in her trousers, but straight legs seem to be the most successful on her particular body type. As for the top, it was awful the first time. We didn't like it then. We still don't like it now. It is just so shoulder dominant. The outfit as a whole, taking in the entire look, the focal point is just the shoulders. And they look very broad and heavy visually speaking. She would have done so much better with like a boxy tee tucked in or a plain fitted t-shirt tucked in. And not to mention the amount of skin showing here is unprofessional and, as we've spoken about, culturally insensitive. Just look around, Meghan. None of the other women throughout Nigeria were having this much shoulder exposure. As we established in part 1, all but 2 of her outfits were completely inappropriate during this trip. She just went for too much skin. She did sleeveless, strapless, spaghetti strap, and had slits in some of the skirts and dresses. For the vast majority of her looks, it would have been more understandable or excused if she had just done 1 or 2 sleeveless things, but instead there was only 2 things that were not sleeveless. The argument that she was there in a private capacity and should be allowed to wear whatever she wants is not sticking, because even tourists should be respectful of the places they are visiting. It's just as important to the hosts and locals as it is for the person visiting, because it runs a very high risk of coming across as offensive, rude, insensitive, disrespectful, and simply doing something that's outside the cultural norm is usually viewed as a negative, even in private personal capacities. Additionally, the argument that it was so hot that she needed to lose the sleeves is equally ridiculous. All the other females in the exact same events or appearances or venues are wearing completely clothed shoulders and outfits. They don't have high slits, they don't have short skirts, they're not wearing shorts, they're not wearing sleeveless spaghetti strap or strapless garments at all. And you know what's better to keep cool than showing more skin or just less clothing in general is actually lighter fabrics that are flowy and actually cover the skin to shield it from the sun. Because in those sorts of environments and climates, sun exposure, having the sun beat down on your skin, will actually result in you feeling hotter than if you were to have, say, a light shirt on to help block some of that sun and create a little bit of airflow between you and the clothing. That keeps you more cool. I mean, you don't have to look far to see proof of that. She would have been so successful and shown respect for the place she was visiting and just come across so much better in terms of a PR and pushing an image if she would have opted for pretty day dresses, things in lighter color palettes with a sleeve, even just a short sleeve or a flutter sleeve, like any degree of sleeve, in lightweight fabrics that had flowier skirts. It would have worked perfectly. Midi length or longer, it would have been probably a lot cooler of outfits to wear in terms of temperature and keeping her cool, but it also just would have looked better. It would have suited the events better. It would have suited the location better. Why she didn't do it is a mystery we will discuss in an upcoming video. Private capacity or not, dressing this impractically has left people wondering, what is happening? Because she doesn't even execute the garments well. They're wrinkled, they're bunched, they're dragging on the floor, way too long, too tight in some places, too big in others. Visible panty lines all over the place, bulges. It's not like she's giving amazing looks and making fashion statements despite it being inappropriate. Oh, no. She's being both impractical and foolish, and she's doing it badly. So all in all, each look was unsuccessful on pretty much every front. Some theorized that she's trying to look sexy and failed miserably. Some others have suggested that because she bills the clothing costs to Archwell or Nigeria as an expense, she's supplementing her wardrobe through that channel for this trip. And I could definitely see this one being true. It was an opportunity for a shopping spree that she wouldn't have to pay for. So she picked out outfits and dresses that she would want to have in her closet for evenings out in Montecito or polo matches or wherever it is that she's going, and she didn't choose things that would be appropriate for this specific trip. And that's why I think this particular theory has merit, that she was shopping not for the purpose itself, but for herself. Of course, when you do things like that, you end up looking bad. But no matter, it was a lost opportunity and certainly cemented her and Harry as disrespectful non-royals, with even just the clothing stunts alone. Before we get to the going home outfit, let's recap this mess. The suit set we discussed as being one of her most successful outfits of the trip for a couple of reasons. First off, it was at least professional, so it came across as being respectful to the occasion, it made sense to wear a pantsuit, and it was respectful in terms of being covered at least. Many have pointed out that a lot of the women weren't wearing pants, and I would say yes, a lot of the women she was meeting with weren't, but clearly some of the women were in pants. As you can see just right behind her in this picture, the women do wear pants at least occasionally for uniform purposes and things of that nature. So I think that the pants were a totally fine option in terms of wearing trousers in general. But it would have been greatly improved if she had worn straight leg trousers instead of these sort of flared trousers. One person said that it reminded them of John Travolta, and I totally agree. The bell-bottom vibe doesn't quite work for her, in large part because she does have thinner limbs. They kind of look a little exaggerated or out of proportion when she does like a flared pant. Straight leg trousers would have been so much better. We have seen great success in straight leg trousers time and time again from her. And of course, as we discussed, the shell or the cami she's wearing underneath and the shoes were a complete wrong choice. As for the jacket, a lot of you sent in questions about the button. It does look to be a tad bit tight. Honestly, when you're reaching out and shaking hands and you're wearing a blazer or a suit jacket, something like this, it looks to have a little bit of a shoulder pad. It's a more structured garment. It's never going to lay properly when you're reaching out, shaking hands, if it's buttoned. She should have unbuttoned it for the handshaking portion of the event, and because she didn't, it's still looking bunched up here when she paused for a picture. On the other hand, Harry had clearly unbuttoned his throughout the walking portion, shaking hand portion, and although he could have buttoned it for the picture, his is laying nicer because he didn't have it buttoned while shaking hands. So I think she would have had a lot better of a finish here for this picture had she had it unbuttoned. Because that will happen even if it's a perfect fit, just from the motion of shaking hands and whatnot. At the same time, it very well could have been a little bit too tight for her torso here, for her waistline, and be pulling even without that happening. Something else she could have done with the outfit is wear a green, like a true green, something that matched the Nigerian flag for her undershirt. Some of you guys pointed that out in the comments, and I thought that was a perfect suggestion because it would have been a nod to the hosts, and it would have looked much better than this off cream color that she picked. Also, this outfit was not by a Nigerian designer. There are a lot of people in the comments saying, Meghan wore Nigerian designers. She looked great and was promoting Nigerian designers. That's just false, not true. This one, not a Nigerian designer. This particular picture shows one of her frequent etiquette fails, which is giant steps. This woman takes steps just as big as her husband. Humongous strides. And in this particular picture, because the camera was a little bit lower and because she has the like bell-bottom flares going on, it just made her legs look so exaggerated in this image. When you see other pictures, it doesn't look as extreme, but this was just a case for taking smaller, more ladylike steps. It's not about necessarily being ladylike, but just looking a little bit nicer and more graceful, a little more poised. You get nicer pictures if you take smaller steps, like not tiny steps, just natural steps. Here it just looks like she's charging out. At least she didn't have the windmill arms. I mean, I guess we've got to give credit where credit's due. We also had the perilous peach dress. It was just honestly kind of a gross option to wear something with side boob and exposed back to a school. If a teacher can't wear it and it's against the dress code, then nobody coming to the school for a visit should be wearing it either. I'm kind of confused why nobody said anything or did anything about this because I just think you can see these children in the background, their faces, other people's faces here. There's a lot of rumors about people who were upset about this, locals who were upset about this. It just boggles the mind why she thought this was an appropriate dress to wear to a school. So strange. You can literally see people staring in such a bad way all around. And this is why you don't want to dress this way. You give a terrible impression to people. I don't care what anybody says, it does matter. And it's not doing any favors for her figure either. And this is by Heidi Merrick. Look, there's other appropriate options from this designer that would have been much better choices for a school visit, for a visit in Nigeria. So she purposefully picked something that was not appropriate in favor of something that could have been much more appropriate. Also, not a Nigerian designer if it wasn't obvious by the name. Next up, let's take a look at another one of the worst from the trip due to it not fitting the location or the event at all. This she wore to a volleyball game. Who does that? The dress itself could be nice, like for an actual beach date or day, but it's just not fitting her quite nicely here, and it's not fitting the occasion even a little bit. The slit is too high and the straps are too long. So it's creating this sort of broad shoulder, big looking chest area with a very tiny boob impression here. So it was really just a ridiculous choice, and it was not very flattering to her figure either. Although the print is something that I quite like, and this sort of a print can be beneficial to somebody with a similar figure, with a more straight figure, a boxier frame. These types of patterns that have quite a bit of diagonal lines can be helpful, but overall, ridiculous choice. This dress is by Johanna Ortiz. She is a Colombian designer who also did the Polo dress coming up. And these, look, some options from Johanna Ortiz she could have picked instead that would have been much more appropriate. What do you know? But what would have been most appropriate on this occasion would have been something sporty. Shocker. It was around this point in the trip that she made the declaration that she got the memo she needed to wear more color and proceeded to wear 3 more beige and cream outfits. And I spoke about this reminding us all of her previous comments, but furthermore, and perhaps more importantly, it was a tell. She showed everyone that she didn't take the time to research the culture or the fashions or what women tend to wear in Nigeria. She didn't shop local designers before coming. Because if she had, she wouldn't have needed to get the memo that she should be wearing more color. These women dress vibrantly, but modestly. That's the overarching theme here. As in a lot of places, they tend to express themselves through color that has significance and meaning, bright patterns, worn in layers that cover their shoulders, much of their arms, chest, and legs as well. So why did the Meg need to get any memos at all? Especially when making my country declarations. She didn't even notice the vibes or look it up ahead of time or want to echo some of her country's aesthetic through her outfit choices. Next up, we have a big moment for Diana cosplay. She wore this white St. Agnes dress, an Australian design studio. It was not a great fit. It bunched up around the waist a lot. It wrinkled like all get out. I think if she was really stuck on wearing this dress, though, she could have found a beautiful scarf or shawl or bolero style top from a local shop or designer, which would show respect to the host, add a pop of color, and cover her shoulders. Because as again, here, every single other woman in this picture and in this room was in full sleeves. Awkward. And this is the occasion in which she and Harry refused to dance with these ladies. They were very disappointed. Apparently, it was quite rude to the hosts. This whole luncheon felt very chaotic to me. I watched part of the live stream. It was probably nothing like what Harry and Meghan had expected, or what they were used to from their previous tours, like the South Africa tour we recapped last week, or their Australian Fiji tour. By many accounts, they were seen as rude, the way they interacted with people, and probably part of that was just they were caught off guard by the approach and the way the event unfolded, because they weren't briefed properly ahead of time. Things weren't organized, and it was not the same sort of structure that they were used to, but also they were just rude. The panel in which she showed up an hour late dressed like a flamenco dancer. She came to deliver word salad about leadership, something she apparently knows nothing about based on her answers, which we covered in this video I will link here. This dress is way too tight across the chest area. It's really digging in along the armpits here, and you can see all the bumps, panty lines, everything. It's so B-team the way she wore this dress. That's all I can say. At this point, it seems like she's not even trying to get like a smooth finish or to care at all about her presentation. If you're on stage, if you're giving a speech, you're presenting, interviewing, getting pictures taken, anything like this, please put on some nylons or a slip. A bit of shapewear. In this video, the undergarments tutorial, I tell you the big secret on shapewear. It does not have to be tight and constrictive and squeezing you. You can buy a few sizes up to just have a smoothing layer so that you get a smooth finish and you don't have bra lines or lumps and bumps the way Meghan does. A smooth layer adds so much more confidence. It looks so much better, and you can feel confident knowing that you have as nice of a look as you can. Your clothes are laying as nicely as they can. You don't have to worry about wardrobe malfunctions, and your pictures will be so much nicer, so much more beautiful and just polished looking. Your presentation does matter. And this was the first and only time that she wore a Nigerian designer's dress that's like on the market. It is a bit of, not just a missed opportunity, but a bit odd, like when you think about the context here, that she wore a total of at least 16 individual garments, if you count tops, blazers or jackets, skirts, dresses, actual like trousers, things like that. Not counting shoes or accessories or anything like that, just actual garments, pieces of clothing. Of 16 or more that she wore that we can count, only 2 were from the host country. One was a gift and one was from a Nigerian clothing designer. That's not what promoting looks like. The gaping polo dress, it's terrible. This is also Johanna Ortiz. Look, more appropriate options available on the website. What do you know? This dress is way too tight across her wide midsection here. Now, don't get me wrong, she is thin, but she has a wider waist. Her torso is boxier. She doesn't have that well-defined waist or hourglass sort of a silhouette. So this dress essentially could not lay properly. It's supposed to look like this, but instead it looks like this. It's a nightmare. It's so much visual weight and bulk and fabric all right here at her midsection, making her look thick and frumpy. Super odd. This whole entire trip looks super out of place and out of touch. It doesn't go with the event. It doesn't go with the location. It doesn't go with what Harry's wearing. Why do you want to make yourself look like you don't belong? The yellow dress we've been over, but it is Carolina Herrera, same as the white shirt that she's wearing here with this blue wrap skirt. Obviously, there were better options available. I give the yellow dress a pass though because it was a rewear, but the white shirt, there is no excuse. It's so messy and wrinkly, and you can even see a white bra outline underneath. She should have gone out and bought a plain blue t-shirt to wear with the skirt, something that matched one of the tones of blue throughout that skirt. And those high heels look absolutely absurd with the skirt. It just looks terrible. And she could hardly walk around as well. It was really a pathetic display watching her try to navigate the ground, the basketball courts and whatnot with these huge high heels that she could hardly walk in. It also did nothing for her proportions. The skirt was sitting really high and therefore made her look quite unbalanced. Before we get to the last outfit of this trip, don't go anywhere, it's a doozy. Let's open the case of the disappearing boobs. But first, a disclaimer. Those of you who have been with me forever, my favorites, this is old news to you, but it's worth repeating, worth a reminder. This is not body shaming in any way, shape, or form. Whatever chest size or boob size or cup size somebody is, or clothing size anywhere in their body, is perfect just the way it is. Nobody should be suggesting boob jobs or anything like that. That is ridiculous. Everybody's fine the way they are. We all have challenges when it comes to our styling and our fit, and bras are no different. In fact, bras, as most women know, is one of the most difficult garments to shop for and get a perfect fit and pair it up with your clothing items. It's just one of those things that's not easy. So we're just discussing Meghan Markle as she is, which is completely fine the way she is. But she has made her boobs subject of discussion because she wore heavily padded bras some days and no bra other days. Was her mistake? And we all watched them yo-yo from like a double A cup to a C cup and back again. Over the course of this trip, it was weird. And that is why people like newscasters, for example, or other people who are on camera regularly, even myself, will buy multiples of the same exact bra in several different colors, all in the same size, and wear one of those bras every single time they're going to be on camera or presenting, or for example, on a trip like this, would wear one of those bras every day. Buy 7 of them so you have one for every day of the week, whatever it takes. You want to have consistency. While necklines and structure of your dresses or tops will change throughout day to day, if you wear a consistent bra style or the same bra, for example, across multiple days, across all the different outfits, you don't have the same levels of variation that we observed in Meghan Markle. Your chest itself will look the same no matter what necklines and structures of garments you wear each and every day. The Meg didn't do that, and it created this big inconsistencies across her outfits and her appearance. So of course it's going to be noticed. When you have an inconsistent approach to your undergarments, then it creates an inconsistent appearance to your body, which people will notice and wonder what the heck is going on. Sometimes she looked like she was wearing a lightly padded bra, perhaps a stick-on, like a silicone stick-on bra. They make some of them that have thick layers of silicone to add a cup size or two as well. With this like peach dress here, it looks like she has that. Then she has like no bra on with the palm print dress. This is her natural state. Probably like a double A cup or something like that. Also, they could be squashed a tad, who knows? But clearly this is what she's like generally working with. There is no bra present in this particular dress. Then we see her go up to like an A or a B cup in these outfits, perhaps a C cup in this outfit. Just wild variations in the boob size. And then back down to being super flat like an A or double A cup at the polo match. And so what does that mean? It means that she wore a padded bra, a heavily padded bra, on some of the days. And some of the days perhaps she wore lightly padded. And some days she had no padding or no bra at all. And who cares? Well, nobody cares, but it is noticeable. And that is what the problem is. So she either doesn't care or she doesn't realize. Is she that unaware? I don't know. Or she's just not bothered by it. I mean, I could see for some people it really not making a difference and they really don't care. They wear padded bras, sometimes they don't, other times, and they do not care if people know. It doesn't bother them. But a lot of women I know would find it to be a little embarrassing to be obviously wearing padded bras. What do you think? It is bizarre. I mean, there is a reason why public figures and newscasters, as I said, wear consistent bras every day, because it will be noticed if your bust looks like it's fluctuating dramatically from day to day the way Meg does. And I mean, who wants to be known for padding their bra? Apparently the Meg does. It's small apples. It doesn't really matter at all, but it is another indication of this woman's absurd approach to dressing. Well, are you ready for the last outfit of the trip? This was the going home look and was basically an exact copy of this outfit of Diana's. Super weird, super strange. Men who watch this, is it weird? Would it be gross if your significant other dressed up like your mom? Like, would it freak you out to have your spouse or your partner dressing this closely, like copying outfits to a T? To your mom? It's so strange. I need to get some data here. It's for science. To me, it seems icky, but please leave your comments below. This outfit itself does offer her decent proportion balancing. Because the trousers have a little bit of room in them, they might be jeans, I can't quite tell. They have a tad bit of room. They're very straight leg, they're a little bit cropped, so that helps to balance her torso to leg proportions. They're also not super high rise. I think that the somewhat pointed toe of the flats isn't the best for her. It's not the most flattering style, but they do have a slight square tip, so that helps a little bit. It's not like an aggressive triangular point. And the jacket coming down a little bit lower to like mid-thigh also helps to elongate the torso just a tad. So overall, this gave her good proportions, good balance, but the cream of the top and the white of the pants do not match each other at all, which is unfortunate. And it is a lot more beige and brown and cream and whites, you know. But overall, it is a well-balanced and nice outfit. But beyond that, it's really indicative of this weird obsession for her to put this outfit together, to go to great lengths to copy Diana's outfit. It's not healthy for either of these individuals for her to be doing this all the time. And these are the two who try to give mental health advice. It's just bizarre. To copy the outfits this closely is not paying homage. It's not giving a nod. It's weird. When you copy an outfit almost exactly, down to things like the jewelry, it's just not the same. What do you think of this outfit? What do you think of the giant man trousers at the beginning that we didn't get into the part 1? Leave it in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for today's fashion edition. I hope you have a very happy day ahead, and I will see you next time. Bye!